Like, oh, Miles, are you gonna be a pastor like your dad someday? And I'm like, I'm not sure, Tito. I'm 10. Right? There comes a point in every pastor's kid's life that they hard rebel.
Oh yeah.
Can you dance now?
As pastor's kids, I tell a lot of people, we encounter and experience peer pressure a lot earlier than other kids do. Right?
Yeah.
1 Timothy 4, verse 12. It reads, "Let no one look down on your youthfulness."
Pero welcome sa ating podcast. But let's introduce ourselves first.
Okay, well,
Come on,
I
of
think
course.
you already know who I am. I'm PoliGoat Bart. I make all sorts of trivia and stuff.
And then ako si Jeremy, or you can call me Biggs. And we have our guest here. He is Mr. Miles Soriano.
Oh, that's me.
What's your full name nga? Miguel Luis nga ba?
We're starting with that? Miguel Luis Soriano. Yeah.
Your middle name is?
Marquez.
Oh.
As Filipino as they come. Yeah.
Yeah.
This Spanish nga.
Maybe some of you probably.
No comment. Right?
Yeah. Some of you probably don't even
know Miles?
Didn't know na yung pala yung real
yun
name.
yung real name
Miles.
ni Miles.
Only the government. Yeah.
Only the government's and your
official
parents.
and even they get surprised. They're like, oh no, your name is Miguel Luis.
But you've always been called Miles.
Always.
Never.
Yeah.
Like, even if your mom gets mad at you, Miguel! Walang ganon. Miguel Luis! Walang ganon.
Her accent
Diba?
changes. never.
Hindi kasi
Miles,
diba ganon?
Miguel. You know.
Hindi kasi diba ganon yun? That's a joke, diba? When
If you get mad.
your parents are mad at
Well,
you.
call you by
that's
their
assuming I get my
full
parents
name.
mad.
Oh, so you've never had your parents
No,
mad at
I get
you?
mad at my parents.
Okay.
Hey, what's the curfew?
Baliktad
No, it's
pala
funny
eh.
actually. Like real talk. Now that I'm older now, because I'm the last sibling at the home. 'Cause both my siblings moved out already. I'm the bunso. There have been a few times that my parents are out late with their adult friends.
Sila pa yung mas late.
And they're late, and I'm like, I text them
time are you
like,
coming home?
Yeah, for real, I text them that, and then
yeah.
they get home midnight or past midnight, and I'm like, you didn't tell me where you were. I was worried sick. I thought you drank too much soda and you fell asleep or something. And they're like, gosh, is that how we sound to you? And I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you guys have a curfew at home ba?
No. Well, my siblings
Yeah,
did.
when you were growing up, wala?
Well, I didn't really stay out that late, to be honest.
Okay.
I was a sleepy
You're a good
boy.
boy.
Sleepy boy, you know.
sleepy boy.
And I guess with my older siblings, I learned a lot from their actions, if I can put it that way. So, by virtue...
What was the worst one ba? Laglag mo na.
How many people watch this podcast?
Like two?
At least two.
At least the two of us.
Two of them, okay. There we go. No, but no, my siblings had their own phases and everything. To put
Same
it,
naman,
to
same
put it
naman.
politically fairly. So I learned to not repeat it in whatever way.
Learn
So
from their mistakes.
my parents never gave me a curfew per se, like a strict one, just because they knew that they could trust me and everything. So yeah.
That's nice. Kaya ikaw ba, Bart? You had a curfew before?
It wasn't implied eh. It's like just parang...
Wala naman like time na.
Wala
like, by
naman.
this time,
It was just
no?
kind of like na basta be reasonable. Recently, it kind of became... Things have changed eh, since I turned 30 of all. Not 13 eh, no? 30. Na I started going home mga
Late.
almost midnight na. Because I have friends from Elevate and then they invite me. Nag-iiya sila. Na, sige, tara, let's go eat somewhere. Tapos, uwi sila. And then after that, magkakape. And ako, I joined na lang them. Kasi, sayang. I wanna hang out eh.
Yeah.
I never really experienced that kasi when I was in high school and college.
Really?
So, I'm kind of making up for lost time.
So prior to your 30, not 30s, you're 30. What's like the latest you'd go home, like 11?
The latest I remember,
On average, yeah.
because I live in Binyan, which is like, because I'm around with like the CCF San Pedro people. I went home mga 1:30, I think.
Is that the average though?
No, that's the latest. That happens only
That's the
once.
average.
Kaya, what's the average?
The average bro, is like mga 11:30.
You know the say, I don't know if you understand this in Tagalog. Yung di ba yung sa Tagalog, wag kang umuwi ng wag kang magpagabi
Ayan.
Pero sasabihin nila, uuwi ako ng umaga, hindi ng maaga.
Hindi na maaga.
Hindi
Umaga
ng
na.
maaga.
Yeah.
Uwi ako ng umaga.
I get home early, if you think about it.
Get home early.
Early.
Kami before, ngayon, syempre hindi naman. Tsaka, yun nga, the older you get, parang you wanna go home as early as you can din eh. Pero before, naalala ko, my dad would call us na parang, nasa na kayo, ganyan. Especially nung J-Zone Elevate days.
Yeah.
So, mga around, 9 o'clock na, he would call us na, where are you? So, we learned na parang, sige, we'll just inform them. Pero I understood then yung reason, especially as I got older, it was really more of out of concern.
Yeah,
Kasi if something
definitely.
happens to you, di ba?
Yeah.
At least alam nila.
But a lot more dangerous things happen at night. Kasi.
Before kasi parang naiinis ako, parang you don't trust me, parang I'll go home naman or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I realized as I got older na, okay, it's really out of concern. They just wanted to know where we are.
Yeah.
Ito yung a funny story.
Go ahead.
It's just a story more just like a bunch of moments sort of together because it's true, like growing up, my parents would also, like my mom especially, would check up on me, text where you are and everything. There came a point where I was cool with that and I would have late night dance trainings or late night events. So I'd update her, I'll tell her and all these things. And there was eventually a season in which she stopped replying to my updates. I'd be like, okay, I'll heading home soon. No reply from her. Okay, I left the place. I'm almost home. I'm just like, she's not even saying anything. Is she asleep? All right, I'm home now. And when I go home, she meets me at the stairway. She's like, oh, you're home now. I'm like,
She wasn't reading. She wasn't reading.
do you not care? I felt so. This is turn of events. I was like, do you not care if I'm alive or not?
I was so responsible.
She's like, you left? Oh, you're home? I'm like, I guess you trust me, I guess, but I feel mixed about it.
Not even the older generations, thumbs up. Just
They're like, she was surprised. Like, oh, nice, you're back. I'm like, am I nothing to you?
they trust you that much. You're the responsible.
Yeah, it was a weird like extreme of like, wow, this is what extreme trust gives you, huh? Negligence. No, I'm just kidding. Love you, Mom. You're the third person to watch this
Shout
podcast.
out, tita.
Hi, Data.
Yeah.
But anyway, why did we have Miles Ba as a guest? Because
why am I here?
especially if you're from CCF, we know
Yeah.
him as the son of the great Pastor Joby
The
Soriano.
poem teller, the poetic pastor.
Yeah, nga, no?
Poetic, prophetic,
Prophetic.
prophetic.
Oh yeah, also that prop.
Oh, now?
prophetic.
Prop.
Oh, now I do this.
Shout out to
nga,
Pastor
nga.
Joby's props.
But anyway,
May prop
so Pastor Joby has been the pastor of CCF Alabang since what?
As long as I remember.
2000 what? Do you know?
I've been alive for as long as I've been a pastor, so
But he became like, if I'm not mistaken, parang he became the senior pastor of Alabang. Siguro like 2005, 6? Probably around that time, no?
yeah, I was like early preteens. Because we were in Sukat back in the day.
Yes,
Oh, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Old school warehouse sort of setup. Yeah.
Was it around 2004?
It was 2000. I can remember na we moved to, the church moved to CCF Alabang December 2003. Kasi kami, this is for another podcast. Pero our story kasi as a family, we left CCF and then we returned in 2003. That was around June. And then, naabutan ko po ulit yung Sukat. I mean, I was growing up as a kid in Sukat, tapos we left, and then came back, still in Sukat. And then I remember December na yung nag-alabang. Kasi I
I
remember,
never knew that. Cool.
it was December 2000.
I only heard stories about Sukat. Ito ba yung parang nasa warehouse?
Warehouse.
Warehouse
yes.
talaga. One
Warehouse.
floor.
Wide. Malaki. Parang malaking Wilcon Depot. Parang ganun.
Okay. I see.
So, 2003. So, tagal na. So, anyway, siguro ganun nga, mga 2005, 2006, I think your dad became the parang head pastor in CCF Alabang. So, of course, just like any member na alam mong he's the pastor's kid, we want to know about that phase of his life. And still, until today naman eh. Diba?
Yeah.
But now, he preaches, he's now a campus missionary, and amazing things na he's been doing for God. Pero we want to learn siguro, maybe kayo din, especially if you know Miles, mga Elevate Alabang peeps dyan. We want to know his story of growing up and being a pastor's kid. Yung mga pressure, di ba? Kasi usually may ganun. Wala pressure.
Expectations.
Pressure for tires. Like, for what?
Pressures for
What
tires.
are you talking about?
So, yung mga ganong klaseng, that's what we want to hear from Miles. And let's see where our conversation goes from there. So, ikaw, Bart, may iniisip ko pa ba?
Are you aware of like the stereotype that usually pastors' kids tend to?
There's two stereotypes, actually. There's two extremes. First off, when most people ask me about like what's it like being a pastor's kid and everything, I have to give the truncated, summarized version because they're like they asked me this question while we're walking by in the hallway or something. So I can't recall the last time I gave the fuller version. So, but yeah, to your question of like the stereotypes, there's one popular one which is there comes a point in every pastor's kid's life that they hard rebel.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not the deep end, but at least extreme for what you presume the pastor's kid to do, right? I I've encountered different pastors' kids growing up, right, and everything. And some people follow the stereotype, and there's another not so popular or well-known one, which is they go the opposite end, which is they become very prudish, very maybe holier than thou,
Legalistic, ganun?
legalistic, but very. It's like a quiet legalistic, I'd say.
I see.
Okay.
Maybe only other pastors' kids can sense it from other pastors' kids, like a vibe check or something. But it's very much a, oh yeah, some pastors' kids do that, but I've never rebelled and stuff. So that's another one. So I'm well aware of the two, and I've seen a bit of the both in.
And I'm neither of them. So which is, I think,
I am
of course,
I am beyond those two.
beyond that.
I've learned from other pastors' kids, right? From my own siblings, from other people as well. It's tricky because part of it is, as pastors' kids, I tell a lot of people, we encounter and experience peer pressure a lot earlier than other kids do. Right?
Yeah.
You know, you might hear it like when you're in high school, when you're like in your preteens or teens. I felt it like when I was in my single digit, like 8-year-old, 7-year-old.
Southridge?
No, Southridge is like high school still.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Shout out Southridge. I don't know what sign I do for Southridge. Thumbs up.
S, what's the sign on S?
We're in the South. We're chill like that. No, I remember we were in CSF Sukat still. So this is way before CSF Alabang. As a pastor's kid, for those of you who are unaware, you generally sit in the front row.
Sit in the front, right?
Yeah.
The dreaded front row where everyone can see the back of your head. I have friends who I'm friends with now who they knew the back of my head before the front of my head. They're like, oh, it's nice to get to know all sides of you, Miles. And I'm like, all right, thanks, friend. No, but I remember multiple times, and all these memories sort of blurred together. That experience of being in the front row, my dad's preaching, he does his thing, he's done with it, and some people go and talk to him in the front afterwards. And multiple adults in multiple occasions would go to my dad and they would talk to him, and I'm in earshot. I'm just waiting for us to go home. I'm not serving yet. I'm not a campus missionary. I'm not doing any of the things that you would
You're just a
associate with. I'm just a kid, right? And in earshot, I hear the parents or the tita or tita say to my dad, "Oh, Pastor, I wish one day my son or my daughter will be as good and holy as your
Really?
kid." No,
Wow.
for real. Like,
Okay.
and I
Do you
Expectation.
still remember with this person?
multiple people.
Wow.
And
Name drop.
no.
Which satellite?
I'm not.
Are they still with CCF?
No. I'm a,
But there are a bunch of titas and,
bunch of titas, and some of them mean well, some of them mean as like a half joke.
Yeah,
I remember there was one tito, I will not name him either. He was like asking me at one point, in Sisa Alabang,
Probably, wait, let me guess. They say, "Oy, future pastor," or something like that.
basically that, like, "Oh, Miles, are you gonna be a pastor like your dad someday?" And I'm like, "I'm not sure, Tito. I'm 10." Right? Like straight up, I'm like, with a voice, no puberty yet. I'm like, what do you want from me? And in this spoken but a lot of times unspoken way over time, I realized as a young kid, oh, I'm becoming the benchmark for all the kids of like my generation and stuff, and not in a cool motivational campaign way, just a like, oh, if I mess up, like I knew as a young kid, which is so crazy to think about. I know it's not the worst thing to experience, but it was something I did experience and wasn't the best. I wouldn't recommend or wish upon other people that, when you're a kid and you go to school, maybe one of the worst things that could happen in your mind is, you fail at a class or something is marked on your permanent record.
Yeah.
I remember distinctly growing up, even before being preteen or even high school, the thought of, if I mess up bad enough, it could cost my dad his job.
Talaga?
Straight up. Like,
No, I mean, pero that
had
was just your thinking.
I had that thought talaga.
Pero,
okay.
of course, walang basis. Like,
I thought there was no basis. And
pero there is.
There what?
Like, now
Maybe he would just be parang...
you don't know, there are stories in our circles, in other circles of other churches, that if the pastor's kid, especially the adult pastor's kid, if they mess up bad enough, the parent has to like step away
down.
indefinitely, if not altogether.
Yeah, but that's, yeah.
It has happened. So the funny thing was,
Pero kahit subject lang?
no, I mean like beyond school stuff. I mean like I'm talking like sin. I'm talking like delinquency.
Of course.
Yeah.
Akala ko lang naman,
Like you fail a subject.
You failed your
No.
subject.
Math, you fail your math.
You failed your math.
Well,
I'm going down, son.
No more poetry.
how could you failed religion class? It's so easy.
I can't be a pastor anymore.
You don't know John 3:16. No, what I meant by that's what normal kids worry about.
Okay.
Report cards, failing,
Ah,
flunking.
okay.
My worry at that age was not failing or flunking. It was
Failing at life.
if I am not a good Christian.
Gets.
Not a good enough pastor's
Example,
kid.
yeah.
If my dad's on stage preaching and he's like talking about being a good husband or being a good father,
yeah.
and I can just feel everyone's glare just turning in my direction.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
You feel it at the back of your head.
Yeah, and as a kid, as a teenager, the handful of people I told about these looming thoughts of mine, they would say the thing maybe you might say, which is, oh, you just overthinking it, no big deal. And then the actual stories of actual pastors' kids messing up bad enough, going off the deep end in whatever ways, right? It would deeply affect their parents' ministry and everything, right?
Yeah.
So,
Because we have seen some of them happen.
yeah, there are some, like if the...
Why do you think that's the case, ikaw?
Well, what do I think that's the case?
Like some go, the wrong path.
Would that have? Is it like a? That's definitely a nature versus nurture situation, right? Because being we're talking about psychology. Because by the way, he finished psychology in
Ateneo.
Proper spelling. That's a local say it. Yeah.
And
Ateneo.
So what Ateneo? Sa Katipunan. So what does? How does that, like, what causes that?
What causes it?
Yeah.
I think it's because, well, I don't want to speak on behalf of all other pastors' kids, but maybe y'all can, if the three of you, as this, the views get up here and everything. I think one thing that maybe is a common factor is that it's something that when you feel it and you're going through it, it's not something your parents, like the Christian parents, the pastor and the wife, would have common, frequent conversations with their kids about. Because the thing is, most pastors' kids, before they potentially go off to the stereotype of rebelling or becoming holier than thou, when you're young, you're just quiet. And a lot of people in church equate you being quiet to being good, holy, behave.
Yeah.
Not just behave, holy and good. Like,
okay.
the pastor must be doing something well because look at this kid. He's not even fidgeting. He's not even blinking. He's not even breathing. Must be doing good, right? And sometimes the parents, if they're not careful, they look at their own kids and they say, oh, my kid is not complaining. He's not saying he has issues. He's not saying he's experiencing peer pressure at 9 years old. He must be fine. So all this becomes like a pressure cooker.
I see.
And then when you get older and puberty happens, and which is like a normal psychological thing of like, you start wanting to be more independent.
Yeah.
You start questioning things, which should be good because the questioning should help you solidify what you actually believe or not.
True.
Instead, it gets a little bit more volatile because the parents who are like, I've never seen you like this before. I thought you were always good and fine. I don't know all the specifics there, but then I think that's a big contributor as to why a lot of them rebel. And I could have ended up that way too had I not found real Christian friends I could be open and honest with. Because I'm not sure for those of you who are aware of this, but in a lot of churches we have this thing called breakout groups, right?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
small
Small
groups,
groups.
accountability groups. And whenever we meet up, I'm not leading it, I'm just attending it. And they ask the part of like, how can you apply the lesson, or what does God tell you to grow in or develop? I would give the safe answers, the non-scandalous answers. I would say,
Have faith.
no.
Believe in Jesus.
Not that I wasn't holier than thou at that point, but I would say stuff like, I could pray more, but that implies I'm praying, but I wasn't praying that much.
I see.
I would say, I could read the Bible more and read the whole Bible and stuff. That implies I'm reading the Bible frequently, but I wasn't. But I was wrestling with other sins, more shameful sins, you could say. And it wasn't until I was maybe 15 where I found people that I could say the real sins, the lust, the pride, the quiet pride, the doubts and everything, and have someone receive it without going,
Without judging you,
What? From a pastor's kid? What? Yeah.
hey man,
Yeah.
just a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I got serious. Huh?
So,
So going back to your story.
I think this is a good.
I don't want to be a downer, but that was the question.
Yeah, but that's true. So, I guess we could.
Let me go back to that.
No,
So
no.
you were saying as a parent and coming from a psychology background, no. So what do you think they should do? Like, should they parang squeeze the answer out of the kid at such a young age? Parang, reply to me or something.
Yeah.
Especially if they
The reply for what part do you mean?
diba, yung parang you're saying
they don't open up eh.
They don't open up diba?
Yeah,
So
Well,
what do you think?
It's less that they don't open up. Maybe some don't, but I think it's less they don't open up. It's more like maybe some parents don't check
Yun nga,
the
like,
kid enough.
Kasi some are afraid, di ba?
Yeah.
The parents, you mean?
The parents.
I mean,
It depends.
from the ones I've seen, because by God's grace, I'm able to talk to other pastors' families, other pastors' kids, and some of them, like my age, they're healed. Some of them, they think they're healed.
No.
A lot of and you can see this in here and there with how they relate to authority. The moment there's friction, the moment there's like resistance, they're like, no, you should hear me, because I was quiet all the years before. Like, slow your roll, you know. But what I would say with most parents, and I don't mean this in a like, all right, son, we have our weekly sit down where I can interrogate you. But honestly, if
a flashlight pa.
and also like
swinging.
And swinging yung light
right?
na.
And also
Tell me.
to be fair to my dad, he became a pastor like later on, like in his mid-30s and everything. He didn't grow up Christian and everything, so this was nowhere near in his radar. So I can empathize with that. But if he and my mom were even just every now and then would say like, "Hey, we were in church the whole day today. How do you feel?" Right? Or like, "Oh, you enjoyed a youth group or you went to youth camp and everything, but like." Apart from what did you enjoy, what did you like, you know, you can always talk to us about anything. I think it's that sort of, in the words of Bruno Mars, leaving that door open. Is that okay to say?
Yeah,
I know we're repurposing
I listen to Bruno Mars. story.
It's the concept of marriage, right? We sing that song.
Leave the door
concept of marriage. You know. Okay. We're testing the waters here. I guess.
We're not gonna cut that out. Don't worry.
Nah, it's
Yeah,
fine.
that will go like up the volume of that one. No, but I think as a pastor's kid, if you know that channel is always open, that's it becomes like a lifeline and stuff. Because I wasn't sure, again, young kid, brain not fully developed. I wasn't sure if I'm like, hey, I don't like the adults saying this thing. I'm not sure how I'll be received, right? So all the thing, I think just that's a starting point, but that's a big sort of first step, which is just to ask, like, you good?
Gets ko yung sinasabi ni Miles kasi
Yeah. Technically, you're also a pastor's kid.
pretty much, Pero we can't, my dad became a pastor, na rin ako eh. Medyo,
Teenagers.
2009. So,
How old were you?
I was probably 17 na. Ganun na.
Okay. Still,
But still, yeah, I mean,
it's different, yeah.
Pastor's kid.
Pero ako din, I never had that pressure naman. Kasi, thankfully, my dad din naman parang, ako wanna honor my dad when we all came from Alabang, and then when we started na yung Las Piñas, he directly told us as a family, sabi, you don't have to follow me. I don't want you to have that pressure. But of course, as a family, we want to support, and God, worked His way. Pero, when it comes to the parents, again, gusto ko lang sabihin na, medyo gets ko yung sinasabi niya. And I think for all of us, kasi we're pretty much of the same generation naman eh. Na yung parents natin, they became parents, but never had those, yung parang what our church is teaching now, how to be a parent.
Yeah.
Diba? So parang they figured things out by themselves. And unlike tayo, when we
were
were parents
freestyling.
siguro, they were somehow freestyling. Pero yung parents din nila, especially that I think majority of our parents naman didn't come from a Christian background, diba? So my dad, I remember he would tell us na hindi naman sila pinalaki ng parents nila in a very, alam mo yun, yung may system and how to discipline properly, ganyan. Yung talang before, papaluin lang out of nowhere, mumurahin, and ganyan-ganyan. So, talagang, when they became parents, my dad was telling nga kasi, both of our parents naman have been with CCF for almost since the beginning eh. And he was telling me na parang pretty much medyo recent na lang naman that CCF has parang had more systematic way of being a parent, parang ganyan.
Yes, much more, there's like a curriculum.
There's a
like
curriculum,
all these things.
yung motivate, yung ganyan. Very helpful.
actually. Yeah.
Right.
So tayo, when we become parents, at least may knowledge na tayo. Pero sila, when they were becoming parents, especially during our younger years, parang they were somehow figuring it out. Pero makita mo rin that it was really the Holy Spirit who was really guiding them because somehow they instilled those values and morals in us while we were growing up, no? So, ako din naman, dito man ako, wala man perfect sa atin. Pero, I just wanna honor yung parents natin kasi they didn't have parang a blueprint into how to become a parent, especially a Christian parent. And siguro tayo, when we become parents, at least mas blessed tayo kasi we have more knowledge. But of course, I'm sure pag nandun na tayo,
it's going to be different.
It's going to be
when you're
different
actually
din
there.
naman, diba? So, that's it for our episode. Tapos na eh.
But we'll be right back.
Pasok ka muna kaya, Bart. Kasi,
But we'll be right back. Those thoughts, I
26?
yeah, from the very beginning, actually, super dense.
Yeah,
yung
balik,
mga
ano pa rin
topic
tayo?
here.
Let's go to Miles' kasi we're really going to talk about Miles today. So,
It's all about because it's
we
the
want to
guest.
learn
He's the
about-
guest.
oh, he's
so
the guest.
he's
We want to learn
front
about-
priority all about him.
him being
All about him.
all about him.
Wow.
Dancer, and then ngayon, a lover. Wow. Is he gonna get married soon?
Well, we'll know after these messages.
Wow, may messages ka.
Wala na, wala. So, continuing from being a pastor's kid,
And he still is one pa naman.
and he still is one. And
Last time I
since
checked, yeah.
at the time of this recording, and at the time of this recording, it is currently a youth month. This
nga.
is the verse of the podcast as read by our guest, Miles Soriano.
All right, here's the verse. It's actually a verse my dad told me way back when. It's 1 Timothy 4, verse 12. It reads, "Let no one look down on your youthfulness, but rather in speech, conduct, love, faith, and purity. Show yourself an example of those who believe."
Yeah.
Yan. So, we always use that. I remember yung early youth ministry pa ng CCF. And the name of the youth ministry was CCF Alabang Youth Ministry.
Ministry.
That was it.
I don't remember that. I don't remember.
So, we had a shirt and then yun yung nakasulat na verse sa likod. Yung 1 Timothy 4:12. But siguro if I was just to highlight something, maybe you guys can share something din, no? Minsan we just end on sa don't let anyone look down on your youth. Tas yun na yun.
Yeah.
But don't forget that it says there na but be an example.
Yes, and it has qualities.
Oh, it
pa.
has
Very
qualities.
specific.
So, especially, yun nga, sabi niya, speech, conduct, love, faith, and purity. Diba? Yun yung isasama where lahat naman tayo, we struggle, as a lot of youth struggle with. So, but we encourage you, kaya mo nanonood, the Elevate people.
Yeah.
And speaking of Elevate, he's also a campus. Lahat naman tayo galing Elevate.
Well, we're all from Elevate. Well, leading Elevate or we're from Elevate, but we are now currently big age B1G singles.
All these
ministry.
terms, so it's not from
Sorry,
CCF, just like
it's so CCF.
There are
CCF people.
there are sides.
Well, just to let you know again,
Well, I
guys.
am bigs.
Pero just to let you know,
Yeah,
we
I'm
are
big,
all
so
from CCF.
technically
They already know since episode 1, but
Elevate is youth ministry.
Yes.
B1G or
Singles,
big is
young
single.
young professional.
Young adults, all that
professional.
jazz. Yeah.
yeah.
So, kayo, what can you say on the verse before we move on? Any ideas, any thoughts? Any encouragement that you would like to share with our viewers? Stay young.
Stay young.
Because Timothy was like already 30 plus naman.
Yeah,
diba?
scholars say
He
he
was,
was in
yeah.
his like early to mid 30s and
Yes,
everything.
so he wasn't really that
He wasn't
young.
an elder old with like a beard na white hair.
So I tell people when they feel like they're old now, I'm like, if you're 30, biblically speaking, you're young.
You're
So,
young.
yeah.
Oh.
all that stuff. I think for me, when I see that passages today, because I also relate to that, seeing all the qualities and traits, I think the reminder also that no matter what your age and no matter what you've been doing for God, there will be people who will look down on you for one reason or another.
Oh yeah.
They'll say, nah,
You're just
Can't
a kid.
please everybody, you know.
You really
I remember
can't,
your dad said something like that, especially in his early years as a pastor. Parang I heard from someone na sabi niya, I can't please everybody, so
yeah. And that's something also that gets instilled in us as pastors' kids in a way, is we want to be people pleasers so bad, right? There's something mortifying, the thought of if I don't let everyone be okay with me. And again, like going back to growing up being a pastor's kid real quick, I have friends now who way back when we were in our teenage years, when we weren't as close yet, me and those friends now, if they wanted to go to a party, it's like, oh, go to a house party, and their parents would be like, huh, let's go, it's too late, you have class tomorrow, this and that. The apparently surefire way for them to be allowed is they would just say, Miles will be going also.
Boom.
Even though I'm not going to the party, they would use the pastor's kid is going, and the parent would be like, oh, if Miles is going, it should be good.
It should be good.
So all the more, it sort of gave credence to that thought of, all right, I have to be a good kid, not just for the adults now, but even for my non-friends who are my age and everything, because if I become the delinquent, there goes their pastor's kid card, right? All that stuff. No, but yeah, there'll be people who always look down on you, and you just have to be able to rise above that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so what else do you want to ask
I was
about?
actually thinking about this because I know this is in your field of expertise. When we talk about like anxiety, for example, have you ever felt anxious like within yourself or unsure of yourself as a pastor's kid? Because you mentioned earlier na, people are always looking up to you, looking at you, looking at you in different perspectives. Have you ever thought about like, you feel worried? Ganyan.
I think so, yeah. I mean, one thing that makes a lot of pastors' kids quiet is you learn very quickly. It's like it's the quickest solution you can think of to cope, which is if I'm quiet, I'm not doing anything good or bad. So if I'm quiet, if I'm to myself, if I'm doing this, then that will keep up appearances, right?
Yeah.
So for the longest time, I spent most of my effort, most of my energy with that facade. It's not like I was hiding and I was living a double life, but I really wasn't living much of a Christian life because I was too busy using my energy to make sure I look like I'm living a Christian life. Because I think all of us can attest, especially when we do ministry now, when we serve people, the people who we're helping to grow in the faith, they're not perfect, right? They have 2 steps forward, sometimes 2 steps back, 1 step back, it depends. But growing as a Christian involves a lot of moments where you have to come to realize or confront the things that God wants to get out of your life. Like, okay, I'm trying to obey God, but it turns out I have pride. It turns out I want people to like me, all these things. But as a pastor's kid, you can't show flaws, right? That's what our brains tell us a lot of times. You can't show flaws. You can't be not perfect. No one's perfect, but you can't be that imperfect. So keep the facade up. So I had no energy really. I had no outlet till later on where I could actually explore my faith, where I could ask out loud and express doubts, express questions. So yeah, that's how I coped with, you could call it anxiety or call it just fear. But no, you're right. I've studied this and everything. I guess for all the psychology students, all 2 of you listening to this, anxiety
How
is...
sure are you that they are psychology students? Na joke lang.
Psycho sila eh. No, we're all
Wow.
That's the stereotype.
Yeah.
You enroll in psych because you want to treat yourself.
Okay.
That's a stereotype, which is, I mean, like, no comment there.
Okay.
No, but anxiety is a little bit more elaborate. It's this sort of sense of unease, this sense of like, worry and other symptoms for it. And it's both a thought, but also it's something that is felt in the body. And there's an actual disorder or mental health condition called generalized anxiety disorder, because sometimes your anxiety can become so excessive and so rampant that if someone asks you, what are you anxious about? They'll just say, everything. Right? I'm anxious about the economy, politics, the future, the past, just everything, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't say I was anxious, psychologically speaking, but I was fearful of messing up in front of people. So that was something I had to...
And that's very valid.
Yeah.
That's very valid.
Why were you afraid? Were you afraid because it would impact your dad, or was it for you?
Honestly, it was for my dad. Because I can't really recall a time in my later single-digit years, like 8 or 9, where I wasn't thinking about how my actions could ripple out into affecting my dad's, my family, and everything. There was a time where I was in the same small group, the group with my brother, Jake. And there was a season in which I was like, maybe I'll try sharing some more personal stuff. Maybe I'll share a bit about what I'm struggling with or what questions I have in the group. And I love my brother. I'm not sure if he remembers these times. We were both young, so I don't blame him, naman. But when I would share a bit more than just I should pray or read the Bible more, I would look in the corner of my eye and I see the look he gives me of like, you can't say that. We can't say that. So until we were in separate small groups, I can't speak on his story and his life then on, so to speak. But prior to us being in separate groups, while we were in the same group, we had both this silent recognition with each other of like, we have to keep it together, right?
But then, sometimes we forget that, well, especially for pastors' kids or for people they have an expectation that dapat they should be always 100%. We forget that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to show now we're vulnerable and that we make mistakes, and that's how we grow it. That's how we first need to recognize na parang, I mean, I'm not perfect, and that's why I need help. That's why I'm here, diba? That's why.
Church is for the broken people,
Exactly.
for the sick people.
Jesus himself said that it is not those who are well that need a physician and a doctor, but those who are
sick.
sick.
Nagkaroon ba kayo ng conversation like, when you were older na ngayon with your parents about did they bring it up like how did you feel growing up as a pastor's kid?
Yeah, I think that was like a mercy of God. I'm not sure if what like brought up the conversation or even who initiated, if it was them or me. But then we're at this age now where I could talk or they could initiate and ask me like, what was it like for you actually growing up with us and in our environment? That not only I could say it, but they could receive it properly from me without being defensive. Because there are some parents, and this going back to like the psychological talk of like, if a child has a valid, not even critique, a valid concern about what it was like for them being, raised up in the family, and if they say something like, oh yeah, whenever, just giving an example, no, not a personal example, but let's say if the parent would always use their kid as a way to prop up themselves. For example, oh yeah, my son, he got top 10 in his exam, whatever. And if the child, for example, says, I always found it concerning, or I always didn't appreciate it whenever I'm with your adult titas and friends and stuff, the only thing I would hear from you about me is all the things I'm doing well, and I become like a trophy for some reason. What happens sometimes, that's just one example, is that some parents, before they can hear what their child is trying to say, right, they will go defensive and say, oh, sorry, I guess I'm the worst parent ever. And it becomes very victim mindset, which I don't think some parents realize they also like to play the victim, which I think they have to be careful of. Because when a child says those things, they're not trying to say like you're the worst. They're trying to trying to just like have a conversation with you, right? And I think some parents, they're good parents, or they're good at parenting when the kids are when they're young, when they're in their teens. Yeah. But when the child is already
adult now,
like a young adult,
teenager, young adult.
You're supposed to have like a more friendship, more like open discussion with them, and some parents are not good at transitioning to that sort of relationship with their kids.
It's really preparing them into becoming adults na eh.
Yeah, right.
And siguro yung yeah. That's nice. That's nice to hear, no? Parang naisip ko nga rin, no? Don't you think na siguro as we end later, siguro yung cliche na what can you tell to the other pastors' kids out there, no? A message for them. But parang naisip ko lang, di ba don't you think that it was kind of good then na we had that so-called pressure kasi it also helped you figure out your faith and ganyan.
I mean, it led to where you are right now, which is a good place.
First off, I know what you're trying to say. I'd be careful with that phrase because psychologically, that's what people say after someone goes through a traumatic experience.
Okay.
They can be very dismissive of like, well, all that abuse led you to who you are today, right?
Okay.
It's
So you think parang sorry cut kita mabilis
no worries.
na parang don't use the Romans 8:28 for God works all things together. Not in all
I guess
all situations.
I guess what I mean by that is
be careful lang.
let the person say it themselves.
Okay. Don't force it on them.
Yeah, don't jump straight to that verse.
Get.
An example which people also use apart from Romans 8:28 is in Genesis when
God causes
what you
meant for evil God uses it for good.
But Joseph said it for himself. It wasn't for hey, come on.
That's a good point.
Our dad's dead. Don't harm us. Come on. What we meant for evil. So I think
let them realize it for themselves.
Yeah.
No?
It's very different. And I guess apart from just being like a theological thing, I think also just in terms of being able to dialogue with someone, that's very key because the moment someone feels like their pain, whether even in your mind you think, oh, that's a small deal or that's like a really traumatic thing, the moment we maybe lead with that or we say it when they should say it, it sort of builds resistance. Like, okay, you're assuming this is all that happened and stuff. Even with other church sort of experience, which maybe we need a whole different episode to talk about.
Are you willing to be a guest for another episode? Put him on the spot, no? If you want him to be a guest pa rin, no? Put it
the 10 of you watching this, comment. Bring him back.
Anyway, going back.
But for that example, it was like someone who heard about my church hurt and other stuff I went through. They're like, we have to admit, though, it made you who you are now. And when I tell you, I was praying in that moment, the quick Nehemiah prayer of like, Lord, what do I say? What do I do? What I said to this person in response, he was like I don't want to identify the person, but my reply to them when they said, oh, it made you It builds you up to the kind of person you are today, how you're serving. I told this person, I became this person. I grew up to be this person despite what that person did to me. Right? That should have not because of, despite of. Right? There are many stories in the Bible and in real life that people, when they go through hardship, you wouldn't be surprised if they became hard of heart, if they became nihilistic, if they became negative because of everything they went through. And there's people that, despite what they went through, they come out of it hopeful, they come out of it healed and helping other people be healed from similar things and stuff. So yeah, I think, but to your original question, which I get what you were really
If you
trying
can
to ask.
rephrase it, how would you rephrase it?
What did you get from it? What did you learn from it? And stuff?
Okay.
I think for me, one benefit is the fact that when I talk to young students, when I talk to young Christians who grew up in a Christian household, it's similar enough to a pastor's kid in the sense that for some of us pastor's kids, we never had a before Christ, after Christ.
Totoo. Yeah,
Right?
I agree.
We never had a like, oh, I was doing all these things, and then when I turned 20 or 30, God
Turned it around,
right?
and all that.
And for the people who had that testimony, praise God for
Yeah,
that.
praise God.
I rarely hear them say they miss the old life, right? Because they know who God is. They'll even tell us, oh, I wish I became a Christian sooner.
Yeah.
But if you always had Christ, quote unquote, or what I mean by that is you always were
Grew up
in
in a Christian
environment,
You were coloring Jesus at 3.
right? You were hearing about Samson, but not the full story of how he was a womanizer and everything. Or
Yeah.
you didn't hear about the last chapter in Jonah where he gets mad at God for a plant and all that. You never have a before Christ, after Christ in a traditional sense.
Yeah.
Traditional. So there's a part of us that grows up and thinks, I wonder how, maybe it's not that bad.
You
if I
know, you
rebel."
become curious.
You
No?
become
Yeah.
curious,
Parang,
right?
honestly, I've had those thoughts. Parang, what
my.
if I just tried doing yung mga worldly stuff?
I actually had I was saying this before na parang ang boring naman ang testimony ko.
Oh,
Na parang,
totoo.
I grew up coloring Jesus.
You were
when,
goody
when I was-
two-shoes masyado.
Yeah. And kasi my mom was a Sunday school teacher, and then my mom had them saved all the way until today, and they're in an envelope. Tapos, I always thought about, I wonder what it's like. Kasi like the shift from this side of the fence to that side of the fence, parang that was like their moment, diba? Pero for us, I don't know for you, pero sa akin it was like a quick realization lang when I was 12 years old. And my testimony was like, oh, he was more than just a drawing lang pala that I color every Sunday.
Yeah.
Parang ganun, but yeah, I realized now, this is still a blessing. I mean, kasi like what you said, a lot of people who had a more like radical transformation. Never, a lot of them, none of them say, I wish, nah.
Right.
You know.
I'll share something with you guys that I heard from another person that it really helped me reframe how I view my own testimony, because I also had that thing of like, yeah, my testimony will never be called on stage to share. It's not that glamorous, not that it won't be on Netflix one day, you know, walang biopic and stuff. I heard this pastor once say there are only two kinds of testimonies. One is God saved you through something. Like you were in prison, you had death threats, you were this and that. He saved you through something, or he saved you from something. Right?
Saved us.
But either way, you needed
did
the
save
Savior.
us. Yeah,
right?
that's a good
So I think what helps me personally is the thought of it's less that my testimony is boring or my life is not, so high highs and like deepest valleys. It's more like, okay, my testimony proves that if you let God into your life early on, like He will sustain you, He will help you, He will reveal Himself to you and everything. So yeah, I just think of it that way. But I feel you though, because real talk, there are times that I think, are we only showing testimonies that are the most dramatic and stuff? And there's, I'm sure, like a large subset of churchgoers or Christians who they can't relate to those kinds of testimonies. But if you share a testimony of like, grew up in a Christian home, I had pride, I had lust,
True.
Masyadong
bongga yung
Right.
I like what you said. I was part of the speakers alignment last week.
Oh yeah.
And then you gave the suggestion na sometimes with our testimonies, masyadong ang parang overly dramatic.
Yeah.
But maganda rin na at times we just share simple testimonies na I just shared with a classmate and ganito. It doesn't have to be na I came from a broken home. We're not saying those are bad, diba?
We're not flipping this.
praise
We're not
God.
going to
Pero
this.
maganda
Praise
nga yung
God
sinabi
for
mo
those.
na parang,
Pero-
let's not forget the other testimonies. Parang the other side of the coin na pwedeng ganito rin, but it makes a big impact.
Yeah. For context to that, because again, we're going through Youth Month and everything, and we're trying to empower the youth to influence their generation and so on and so forth. And there are times that if all our examples of young people who influence the world are the grandest people, the
Billy Grahams,
the whoever's, right? As a kid, you're like, where do I even
is
begin?
Billy Graham?
Facts. Actually, you know what?
Graham Cracker ba yun?
Streamer?
I only have Skyflix. Like, what's the Billy Graham? No, but it's real, right? Like, I get the idea. I get the sentiment. It's giving Great Commission and everything. But you have to understand that even when Jesus gave the Great Commission, that was the last chapter of Matthew. He didn't say, like, I'll make you fishers of men. Great Commission. All right, all nations. That was, like, much later on. So I was just simply saying to them, like, if you tell a story of a youth who they wanted someone else to speak in their school about God, but then God told them to speak. I found a testimony share like last Sunday for that. And she thought she would have the campus missionary of her school share. And then God was telling her, no, you share. Like the feeding of the 5,000, you feed them. And, that's really what can really help a lot of youth who feel stuck, who feel like they're the worst youth because there's a random young guy abroad or another country, their age, with this many followers, with this many views, who's preaching on stage, right? So you feel like they're at 13, they feel like they're behind, right?
Yeah.
So it ain't like that. You got time.
Galing.
And that leads us again to to the verse of the podcast kanina. Don't let anyone look down on you. You're never. No one is too insignificant.
Alam mo, point ko yan nung nag-message ako last Sunday. Sabi ko, you may feel insignificant in the world's eyes, but you are never insignificant for God's purpose.
Amen.
Sabi ko doon sa ano.
They should have quoted you on Sunday.
I didn't share that with
Be brave. Don't let them look down on you. Come on, Biggs.
It's okay. Yeah. So, mayroon ka pa bang gusto? But punong-puno na eh.
Oh,
no?
I
think
that was dense.
And I'd love to have him back, no? Siguro next year, no?
Next
year.
Marami pa tayo
next year.
Next year.
All right.
Pero siguro parting words, siguro, before... May trivia ka ba? Do you want to share trivia?
No, I think there's more than enough knowledge na yun.
Where did the word pastor come from?
Pastor comes from the word pastol. Okay, meron pa rin. The word pastor comes from the word pastor is also, which means shepherd actually. So it means shepherd.
Okay. You still dance? Mel? Before we end, parang some fun.
I saw you were dancing pa rin.
Oo nga, I saw you dancing. Sa youth service.
Okay.
Was that a special number?
Were you speaking?
That was a special moment.
Speak.
I was speaking.
Oh, you were.
Look at the dance.
So, wait lang. Okay, so some of you, depending on your algorithm, maybe you have a Christian algorithm that the caption or like the prompt on top of the video says like, when you ask your pastor to break down the message and then you start dancing.
Oh yeah.
And then that was the actual caption that they used for that clip of me dancing on stage. So what happened was, I was doing like a Saturday youth message and everything. And the topic I was trying to give, it was the one we were going through the mountain series. And the point I was trying to make for my intro lang, not at the end, hindi closer na people are crying, oh, he's dancing. It was like, I was saying to them,
if Pastor Joby had a poem at the end, you always have a
dance at the beginning. hey, gotta be creative, okay? I can find my own lane. No, but the idea was, watching something on YouTube, watching a concert from a distance versus watching it face to face for yourself, seeing the real thing. And the reason I bring that up is because some of the people in the youth, whether the people who've been there since J-Zone or way back when, they know me, or even the young ones, they only heard of me as a dancer. Maybe some of them have like found a video of mine on YouTube of me dancing or whatever, but they never see me dance for real. So I was like, I wasn't just trying to be like self-indulgent of like, check this out, kids.
Don't worry. We're not.
But it was more.
You don't believe me? Watch me.
Sample naman dyan. It starts I can have some song queued up and everything. So, prior to serving in the youth again, starting 2022 onwards, I was pursuing a dance career from like 2017 until pandemic.
Oh yeah.
And then God, among other reasons, I'm sure. When the pandemic happened, it caused a full stop to my like dance career. Because 2020, my momentum was at all-time high. And for some of you are sort of like surprised because I'm rocking a cardigan and like these are only sweatpants I own and everything. But like I was doing coaching gigs, I was competing, I was teaching workshops, the whole shebang. I was like competing abroad and stuff. And then when that happened, and the pandemic sort of like a full stop, like I tried doing online classes, all these things, it didn't work. I was so bitter to God because or towards him because, long story short, dance was the only thing that I pursued, even though my parents at first were a little bit hesitant on. When I was about to graduate with my psych degree from college, my mom would ask me,
So what are you gonna do
"What are you
next?
gonna do with your degree?" And my honest answer, I said to her, "Oh, I prayed about it truly, and I feel like God wants me to pursue dance a little bit further." And prior to them being, a pastor and a pastor's wife, they grew up corporate, or like 9 to 5 was a job, not these creative pursuits that are common today.
Yeah.
So understandably, they were like hesitant, but difficultly, blessings, is
Thank you.
they gave me pretty much a year to make dance work, which is not realistic. I have a few famous dance coaches in the Philippines I'm mentored by. First few dancers. If you know Coach Chips from U Peeps or Coach Cernan from UP Street, they're my coaches. I asked them at that time, this was around, I graduated 2016. I asked one of them, Coach, how long did it take for you to become fully financially sufficient just with dance? No side hustle, no other 9 to 5. And in their age, like maybe early 30s or mid 30s, they told me, just now. It's only now that I'm like, dance alone is enough and everything. And these are like widely successful coaches. One of them, his dance resume is all just first place. And I'm like, dang, that's a lot of ones. And I'm like, I have a year to make it work. And they were like, good luck. And, by God's grace, I won a solo competition. I got to teach in Singapore and take classes in Singapore. And my parents went from, he's done dance music for 5 years, but we don't know if he can do it for a career, to like, oh, he's serious about this. Like, oh, like you weren't joking when you prayed about this and you felt God was leading you to this. So come back to 2020, full stop in my career. I was like, God, I feel like I obeyed you.
Oh my.
Despite, for a season, my parents not being on the same page with me about obeying you. But now I felt like you brought me to a dead end. And I had this one of those dramatic, like in movies, not overly like produced, but imagine like you're in a car and you're talking to God and you're just like, God, why?
Why God?
And, in a very gentle way, I felt him saying to my heart, I didn't take away anything big from your life. The only thing I took away from your life was dance. But shouldn't your identity be the fact that you are my child?
Wow.
So I realized kind of both gently and also painfully, like that's how God's conviction works, that I made my gifting, I made dance my idol, my identity, all of it. And he really pruned that out of me because of the pandemic and other things. So another long story, when I jumped to doing campus missionary and everything, I thought, okay, God, if dance was, the whole point of dance was for me to get into ministry, I'm cool with giving up dance. But lately, or even when I prayed that prayer at that time, God would just say, "Mamaya na yan, basta later." He never said stop. He never said give it up. So I leave the door open also.
Leave the door open.
Leave the door
Leave the
open.
door open. And as we close with that, we're leaving the door open to another episode.
Yeah, with Miles.
With Miles, because there's
Kulang.
Kulang eh.
Kulang.
We need more of you.
I got stories.
We need more of you.
More of you.
You're sharing.
My pastor's kid trauma. Oh no.
Pero yeah, so I hope you guys learned a lot from that, and I hope you guys just appreciate it. Having a guest instead of
Hindi
just
lang
us.
kaming dalawa.
Hindi lang kaming dalawa. So, Mas, you have some parting words for us?
Nothing too fancy or whatever, but I guess if you can relate to my childhood in any way, that feeling of you can't really mess up too big, you really can't let anyone know what's really going on, do what I should have done when I was younger, which is pray that God would send you at least one person who can be that person for you, the person who you can share everything, and you won't be met with, a stern rebuke or like, first and foremost, like just shock and like, receiving shame because of it, but someone that really can bear it and can hold it, because you're not meant to shoulder that Christian walk alone. And then for all of you PKs like me, however you feel about it now, I got to meet some of you in different places, out in church, in weddings, random places. I know we didn't sign up to be pastors' kids. I don't know where you are in your faith, if at all, right? I understand, like I really do. And no matter where you are with that, no matter where you are with God, He still calls us to draw nearer. Even when I serve in ministry now, God still says, there's more to me than you think. So, yeah. I know other believers, other Christians, maybe your family and parents have sort of modeled who God is for you, but God is still who He says He is. So,
Amen.
yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much,
Thank
Miles.
you so much, Miles.
We learned a lot.
Thank you for gracing us with your presence.
Can you dance now? Did you? Can you dance us out of the video?
Dance, monkey dance. No, this is great, guys. Thanks for the invite.
Maraming salamat. Thank you so much, Miles.
Miles.
And
We're not yet rich, so we don't have anything to give you
we
right
don't
now.
have-
Although
we
I do
don't
have cookies outside. So
yeah. Speaking of, we're gonna.
No, not this one.
No, okay.
Sa sarili ko. Bye.
All right. Well, bye, guys.
We're eating some cookies now. Bye.
God bless.
Yun.
Right.
Thanks, Miles. Appreciate it. Oh.